at least one of you has a background in engineering, so you've already been working in a very analytical area. I think that marketing research is a terrific area for people to work in. And what we do basically, in a nutshell, I think, is we answer and address problems and issues and questions that our clients have. So typically clients will come to us with specific questions. There's so many different things we work on. There's things like we do a lot of work on brand strategy and brand positioning, for example. We also do communications testing, so if people are trying to test messages. We do all kinds of things like pricing research, market size and potential research, that sort of thing. If you look at the Q2 Insights website, there is a whole list of the services that we offer, and that will give you some understanding of the broad nature of the type of work that we do. The thing that I guess I most want to share with you is that the industry is changing pretty dramatically and pretty quickly. And I think this has implications for if you have any plans to go into marketing research, I think this has implications for you. And let me just go through some of those changes. So overall, there's been a huge move to doing all things digitally, right? So we can do qualitative research and quantitative research digitally. We don't have to do it in person. We don't have to do it on the phone. Not that we don't do it anymore in person or on the phone. We still do face-to-face focus groups and depth interviews and things like that. But if I had to guess, I would say that 90 to 95% of the work that we do these days is digital. And when I say digital, let me go through the sort of things that I mean there. So from a digital perspective, we do one of the parts of qualitative research is what's called ethnographic research. And for ethnographic research, you're usually trying to do a really deep dive on some kind of topic and learn more about that particular topic. So an example from many moons ago of an ethnographic study that we did is we had a client that specialized in those those canisters that you use for your barbecue, the gas canisters. They specialized in these gas canisters for their barbecues, and they wanted to break into the paintball market. And I don't know if any of you know this, but the weaponry for paintballing actually involves a gas canister to fire the paintballs. So they knew nothing about the industry, so we wound up doing an ethnographic study, deep dive on the paintball industry. And we went out, and what happens with ethnographic research is that the researcher participates, observes, and interviews. And so we went out and we actually went to these paintball fields, and we participated in paintballing. We had wars with other people that were doing paintballing, and we videotaped people talking about their weaponry and their experience on the paintball field, and so on and so on. Anyway, that's an ethnographic study in its truest sense. But these days we can do those digitally. So if you can imagine, we want to do a really deep dive, for example, on laundry detergent. We can ask people to use their cell phones to answer questions for us and to film themselves doing the laundry, and to write journals, to do journaling around their clothes washing behaviors. So we can learn so much digitally now without going to people's homes and observing them doing their laundry. And because we're also used to using these devices, we tend to get an awful lot of information from an ethnographic perspective. We can also do digitally, either online or using the smartphone. We can do all kinds of depth interviews. We do focus groups. real-time focus groups and asynchronous focus groups, depth interviews, and so on. On the quantitative side, of course, web surveying is huge. Now, back in the day before we had the internet, which I remember, back in the day before we had the internet, or that the public had the internet, I was actually using the internet years and years ago when I was at Tulane as the statistical package consultant. But anyway, before the public had access to the internet, we had to do all our surveys by phone or by mail or in person. And so now everything's being done digitally. The other thing that's really associated with all of this that's happening in marketing research is that we now have this amazing thing called artificial intelligence and machine learning. And this has big implications for those of you who are interested in being any kind of analyst. I would predict that due to the advent of artificial intelligence, in the next 10 years, maybe less, a lot of those analytic positions, the analyst positions, will go away and will be replaced by marketing research, by artificial intelligence. So what does that mean for your careers? That means that you need to think very carefully about how you can be a strategist as opposed to somebody who's crunching the numbers, because a lot of our number crunching in the future is going to be done via artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, already in both qualitative and quantitative research, we are using artificial intelligence. We do artificial intelligence-fueled web surveys, and we do artificial intelligence-fueled qualitative research. And it's extremely powerful, it's extremely quick, it gives us really fabulous insights. We still need the human strategic touch to mine the data for insights and ideas that connect together, but it's pretty amazing what we're doing. The other thing that's happening in marketing research is neuromarketing research, and this is the use of electroencephalography, so measurement of the brain activity, to measure response to communications, advertisements, and that sort of thing. It's absolutely revolutionizing the way we do advertising and communications research. It's extremely accurate. Not all companies are the same. There are some companies that are much, much better than others at this, but there's a lot of that going on. And then associated with that, we now have also biometrics. Biometrics is measurement of any kind of physiological response to any stimulus material that we might present. So, for example, we might measure galvanic skin response, which is just a fancy way of saying how much people are sweating, and we might actually measure their galvanic skin response to different marketing stimuli. We can, I guess, under the title of biometrics also comes neuromarketing research, but people also measure heart rate. There's a ton of things, eye movement. There's all sorts of things that are under the title of biometrics that we're now using in marketing research. And I think also, we at Q2 Insights at least are very big into analytics, multivariate statistical modeling. So where we're doing not just looking retrospectively at what's gone on in the past, but actually using data to predict what will happen in the future. So that's very big as well. And then I think there's things like design thinking and innovation work, which goes hand in hand with marketing research. And also then another interesting area in which I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination would be behavioral economics as well. So any questions on those changes in marketing research? No questions? No comments?